Okay. Okay. Stream manager, OBS, the page, camera, lights, everything's good. Anyway, let's just get this started. Effects of the car on societies. Well, for the contents, as always, I already went through one, history, two, access and convenience, three, economic changes, four, traffic, five, cultural changes. We're on to six, safety and traffic collisions. So let's go to dedicated infrastructure. I've been spending some time just talking about this because I'm just interested, especially with roadside zoos, which pretty much it is a zoo where you would drive your car to in order to enjoy the many animals that come close to you. Oh no, no, I got that wrong. It's safari parks. Roadside zoos are another thing. But anyway, let me actually show you this. Yeah, make sure it's pictures. Huh, Park Italy. Interesting. Well, anyhow, there's also other things too. Taxi rank, I'm still a little bit confused. I just keep on thinking of, yeah, just a taxi cab area or temporary parking. Kissing ride. It's a kissing ride. But taxi rank? That's a weird word. That's a weird term to think about. Anywho, safety and traffic collisions. Motor vehicle accidents account for 37.5% of accidental deaths in the United States, making them the country's leading cause of accidental death. Though travelers in cars suffer fewer deaths per journey or per unit time or distance than most other users of private transport, such as bicycler, bicyclers, 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 bicyclers. It's I'm just gonna say bicyclers or pedestrians. Cars are also more used, making automobile safety an important topic of study. For those aged 5 through 34 in the United States, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death, claiming the lives of 18,266 Americans each year. It is estimated that motor vehicle collisions caused death of around 60 million people during the 20th century, around the same number of World War II casualties. Damn. Just in 2010 alone, 1.2 million people were killed due to traffic collisions. Notwithstanding the high number of fatalities, the trend of motor vehicle collision is showing a decrease. World toll figures in developed nations show the car collisions with fatalities have declined since 1980. Japan is an extreme example, with road deaths decreasing to 5,115 in 2008, which is 25% of the 1970 rate per capita and 17% of the 1970 rate per vehicle distance traveled. In 2008, for the first time, more pedestrians than vehicle occupants were killed in Japan by cars. Besides improving general road conditions like lighting and speeded walkways, Japan has been installing intelligent transportation system technologies such as stalled car monitors to avoid crashes. So in 2008, for the first time, pedestrians and vehicle occupants were killed in Japan by cars. Yeah, that's concerning that some countries are experiencing that. In developing nations, statistics may be grossly inaccurate or hard to get. Some nations have not significantly reduced the total deaths rate, which stands at 12,000 in Thailand in 2007, for example. In the United States, 28 yeah, states 28 states have reductions in the number of automobile crash fatalities between 2005 and 2006. 55% of vehicle occupants 16 years or older in 2006 were not using seatbelts when they crashed. Road fatality trends tend to follow Smith's law, the empirical schema that correlates increased fatality rates per capita with traffic congestion. 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 So, I had a hard time saying it. Congestion. An empirical schema. Smeed's law. Smeed's law, named after R. J. Smeed, who first proposed the relationship in 1949, is a proponent empirical rule relating traffic fatalities to traffic congestion as measured by the proximity of motor vehicle registrations and country population. Anywho, crime. Motoring offenses and crimes related to cars include offenses relating the automobile rather than exclusive to it. Many have become more prevalent with the rise of mass motoring. Mass motoring. Wow. Oh, I'm gonna say all those. I hope me just saying and answering doesn't make me be put on a list. Alright. Many have become more prominent with the rise of mass motoring. Car bomb, car theft, drive-by shooting, DUI, jaywalking, parking violation, speeding, street racing, vehicular homicide. Alright, should I. Let's go with car depth. Let's see if it. Actually, nah. Let's go to car depth. See if there's actually an image. Okay, it's just a broken in picture window. The parking violation. Okay. Jaywalking. Oh, it's just a sign. People not do drink walk along with street racing. Okay, at least has people. I wonder if let's see what the traffic. Okay, yeah, no picture. I hope this doesn't have a. Yeah, it does have a picture. Well, at least it's not graphic. It's. What is it? They don't do that anymore with Wikipedia from pictures because they actually do want people to be able to use the site without scrolling through a yeah, scrolling through a piece of text. There's a hyperlink and it shows just a graphic image. No, you gotta actually get to the article to actually see anything that's related to it. But yeah, anyhow, that is something to concern when it comes to crime. Now there's external and internal costs. Public or external costs? According to the Handbook of Estimation of External Costs in the Transport Sector, made by the Delft University, and which is the main reference in European Union for assessing the externalities of cars, the main external costs of driving a car are. Oh boy. Well, first let me actually look through. Yeah, I didn't go through these pictures. Let me read that before I read that entire list. According to the Eurostat, the automobile is one of the less safe means of transport. If safety is measured as the fewest fatalities per travel passenger distance, based on data by UE 27 member nations 2008 through 2010. Okay. Let me actually. I've listed here. Oh, well, that's a big image. Okay, we have it here. So, passenger transport safety. Safety in each mode of transport in terms of billion passenger through kilometers per fatality. Ah. Billion passenger kilometers per fatality, power two-wheelers, yeah, car occupant, bus, a passenger, an airline passenger. Mm. Yeah. It's safer to go on a plane than a car. Motorcycles, the thing there, always can be a very trouble thing. But yeah, look a bus. Very close to train, but not that close to car. Now, anywho, let's go look at this next one, which is the U.S. motor vehicle annual U.S. traffic fatalities per billion vehicle miles traveled, red, miles traveled, blue, per 1 million people, orange, total annual deaths, light blue, VMT in tens of billions, dark blue, and population millions, teal, from 1921 to 2017. Now on to this graph. Yeah. U.S. motor vehicle deaths per VMT, death per capita, total deaths, VMT, and population. Oh, population vehicle. No. And here's the legend. Shows it. As you can see in the screen. I don't quite understand everything because it's a bit too much, but hey. That shows the thing about statistics under traffic collisions and stuff. Now, let's go on to this list and finish the stove. The main external costs of driving are alrighty. Congestion and scarcity costs, accident costs, air pollution costs, noise costs, climate change costs, costs for nature and landscape, costs of water collision, costs for solar pollution, and costs of energy dependency. Costs. Cost. It's just cost. What is the cost of me saying everything in exaggerated accent? It's probably fun. Oh yeah, should I do an accent for bullet points? Yeah, I should still stick with quotes. I haven't passed by any quotes lately, so I'll probably have to go more into history. That's interesting. That'd be interesting at least. Use of cars for transportation creates barriers by reducing the landscape required for walking and cycling. It may look like a minor problem initially, but in the long run, it poses a threat for children and the elderly. Transport is a major land use, leaving less land available for other purposes. Cars also contribute to pollution of air and water. Though a horse produces more waste, cars are cheaper, thus far more numerous in urban areas than horses ever were. Emissions of harmful gases like carbon monoxide, ozone, carbon dioxide, benzene, and partic- particulate hmm, and particulate matter can damage living organisms and the environment. The emissions from cars cause disabilities, respiratory diseases, res- respiratory respiratory diseases, and ozone depletion. Noise pollution from cars can also potentially result in hearing disabilities, headaches, and stress to those frequently exposed to it. In countries such as the United States, the infrastructure that makes car use possible, such as highways, roads, and parking lots, is funded by the government and supported through zoning and construction requirements. Fuel taxes in the United States covered about 60% of highway construction and repair costs, but little of the cost to construct or repair local roads. Payments by motor vehicle users fall short of government expenditures tied to motor vehicle use by 20 through 70 cents per gallon of gas. Alright. Congestion and the notorious external costs of driving, such as in Sao Paulo, pictured. So this is congestion. Zoning laws. Oh my god, zoning. Zoning laws in many areas require that large free parking lots accompany any new buildings. Municipal parking lots are often free or do not charge a market rate. Hence, the cost of driving a car in the U.S. is subsidized, supported by businesses and the government who cover the cost of roads and parking. This is in addition to other costs car users do not pay, like accidents or pollution. Even in countries with higher gas taxes like Germany, motorcyclists don't fully pay for the external costs they create. This government support of the automobile through subsidies for infrastructure, the cost of highway patrol enforcement, recovering stolen cars, and many other factors make public transport a less economically competitive choice for commuters considering out of pocket expenses. Consumers often make choices based on those costs and underestimate the indirect cost of car ownership, insurance, and maintenance. However, globally and in some US cities, tolls and parking fees partially offset these heavy subsidies subsidies for driving. Yep, getting into a city from one part to the next part probably means you have to drive through two toll booths where you have to pay money just to get to another side of the city, and that can cost you money. Yay. I don't like paying money for freaking driving if you have to worry about gas. Along with the maintenance costs and stuff. Ugh. No, 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 no. Where did I left off from me just pouring? Or really just peeing out a bit of my feeling. Yeah, go. Yeah, automobiles, stolen cars, out of pocket, Harper. Yeah. Wait a second. Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm. Oh man, my eyes are I think I'm losing a bit of my vision right now. Okay. Let me spend time just skimming through just where I left off. Okay. Yeah, let me reread this. Okay. See if I got my vision. However, globally and in some USAs, tolls and parking fees partially offset these heavy subsidies for driving. Transportation planning policy advocates often support tolls, increased fuel taxes, congestion pricing, and market rate pricing for municipal parking as a means of balancing car use in urban centers with more efficient modes such as buses and trains. When cities charge market rates for parking and when bridges and tunnels are tolled, driving becomes less competitive in terms of out of pocket costs. When municipal parking is underpriced and roads are not tolled, most of the cost of vehicle usage is paid for by general government revenue. A subsidy for motor vehicle use serves as subsidy dwarfs the federal, state, and local subsidies for the maintenance of infrastructure. Subsidy, subsidy, yeah, versus subsidies. Huh. For the maintenance of infrastructure and discounted fares for public transportation. By contrast, although there are environmental and social costs for rail, there is a very small impact. Walking or cycling often have net positive impacts on society as they help reduce health costs and produce virtually no pollution. Oh boy. There's the private or internal costs. Let me skim through. Okay, I gotta clean up my page. Alrighty. Private or internal costs compared to other popular modes of transportation, no, passenger transportation, especially buses or trains, the car has a relatively high cost per passenger distance traveled. Motorists in the United Kingdom seem to spend on their cars an average of roughly one third of their average net income, while motorists in Portugal seem to spend one half of their net income. For the average car owner, depreciation constitutes about half the cost of running a car. Nevertheless, the typical motorist underestimates the fixed cost by a big margin or even ignores it altogether. Alright, now on to in the United States. Out of pocket expenses for car ownership can vary considerably based on the state in which you live. In 2013, annual car ownership costs include repair, insurance, gas, and taxes were highest in Georgia. 4,233 no 4,233 dollars Georgia, and lowest in Oregon, 2,024 dollars, with a national average of 3,201. I'm comparing that. Yeah. Furthermore, the IRS considers for tax reduction calculations that the automobile has a total cost to drivers in the US of 0.55 cents USD per mile, around 0.26 euros per kilometer. Data provided by the American Automobile Association indicates that the cost of ownership for an automobile in the United States is rising about 2,000 per year. 2013 data provided by the Canadian Automobile Association concludes that the cost of ownership for a compact car in Canada, including depreciation, insurance, borrowing costs, maintenance, licensing, etc., was Canadian 9,500 per year, or about US $7,300. Now on to consumer speed. The Austrian philosopher Ivan Illich, a critic of the modern society habits, was one of the first thinkers to establish the so-called consumer speed concept. He defined the term in his 1974 book Energy and Liquidity as the distance that an average person commutes each year divided by the amount of time dedicated to commuting and related activities. He calculated that the average American male spent 1,600 hours per year in car-related activities, through about 28% of the time they spent awake, and traveled 7,500 miles, 12,100 kilometers by car each year, giving a consumer speed of about 4.7 miles per hour, 7.6 kilometers per hour. In comparison, their contemporaries in developing countries spent less than 8,000 of their time walking. In other words, quotes. Okay. What distinguishes the traffic in each countries from the traffic in poor countries is not more mileage per hour of lifetime for the majority, but more hours of compulsory consumption of high doses of energy, packaged and unequally distributed by the transportation industry. I try to even sound. I try to speak normally with a bit of a more nasal voice, yet it just sounds more in my regular voice. What distinguishes the traffic? Yeah, I probably just. Yeah, for now, each quote, let me do it with a deep voice, so at least know that I'm actually putting in an accent that's quite different than mine. What distinguishes the traffic in rich countries from the traffic in poor countries is not more mileage per hour of lifetime for the majority, but more hours of compulsory consumption of high doses of energy, packaged and unequally distributed by the transportation industry. Oh, but I go with the deep voice. No time for ho ho right now. Maybe some other time. Car free streets. The car free street is a growing concept which aims to protect citizens by eliminating the issues raised by cars. This is being introduced in New York, Paris, Rotterdam, and soon San Francisco. Yep, that's something I talked about a few wikis ago. So, yeah. Well, anywho, since we're out of time, it looks like I couldn't summarize everything. So let me look through and probably see which link I probably pick to read about. See also general alternatives, effects, and plan response. Oh, I actually really like this. So much hyperlinks. Sustainable transport. Water club owner. Yeah. Car free, city bicycle. Yeah. Urban sprawl. Urban decay. Yeah. Noise pollution. Bicycle friendliness, cycling. I go more with cycling, especially with me wanting to know the actual history of the golden age of bicycles sometime later. But now let's look more with things related to, what is it, car transport. But I also talked about active mobility a while back, so I feel comfortable just putting something related to that. I'll probably stick with sustainable transport, but we'll see later once I finish summarizing next time. Besides that, so long.